BMW's reincarnation of the Mini has been with us now for around 20 years, and while it's slightly less mini than the 1960s Isagonis original, it's still very much a sales success. The original Mini was renowned for its handling. It was used in rallies and touring car races, and while modern safety standards have meant that the new Mini has grown in size, it still retains some of that charm. It really is still a fun thing to drive. The steering feels meaty and substantial. The response from the front wheels is immediate, and the car doesn't roll around too much through the corners. The manual gearbox feels a little rubbery, and the way it blips the throttle for you on the downshifts is a bit weird, but otherwise it's brilliant. It isn't quite as comfortable as you may like though. The springs are extremely firm and potholes will make their presence felt. The seats are more supportive than they look though. You've got quite a choice of engines with a fairly even split of petrol and diesel options. The basic option is a 1.2 litre petrol, but you can get a slightly larger 1.5 litre petrol and diesel units. If you feel the need for a bit more power though, you can opt for one of the 2 litre petrol engines, like the 190 brake horsepower petrol in this Cooper S. And if that's still not enough for you, then there's a range of hardcore John Cooper Works models available with more than 200 brake horsepower. The Mini has been built by BMW and it gets a cabin worthy of any premium car maker. All the materials are of a really high standard and the switchgear feels really well made. The infotainment system, on the other hand, is very good. It's taken pretty much straight from a BMW, and that means that it's really easy to use. Some might be a bit put out that it doesn't use a simple touchscreen, but the fact that everything's controlled by this rotary switch between the seats does at least make it easy to use while you're driving, and you don't get mucky fingerprints all over the screen. You get quite a few lights in here, what with the mood lighting and the LEDs around the central display, but somehow it still manages to be a bit dark and dingy, especially in cars with black headlining. You've got quite a small windscreen and the windows aren't that big, so it doesn't let all that much light in. Even this 5-door version isn't especially spacious, despite being a tad longer than the 3-door version. If you are doing a short journey, then you will get 4 adults in here, but realistically the rear bench is best suited for children on long journeys. The boot isn't that big either. It's about 75 litres smaller than a DS3's. The Mini hatch is great to drive and beautifully built. It looks great too, but sadly it's not that practical.